So, now I'm just playing y'all. The epic intro. But nah, real talk though, it's your boy, Conscious Coon Killer, killing the coon within me, the coon within you. Now, before I get into it, just a quick little disclaimer or whatever you want to call it. This is not no beef video. This is none of that rah rah drama bull. Say none of that. This is just a video of me responding to one of Robert Perkins' videos about polygamy and polygyny and monogamy and his opinions on it, and me just kind of, I guess, giving my opinions on his opinions about what I agree with and disagree with, because I thought it was an interesting video. So this is just a respectful response to him. I just want to say that right at the bat. If y'all don't know who he is, go check his channel out. I'll put a link in the description to the video that I'm responding to. Great brother, great channel. So check him out if you don't know who he is. But yeah, the other day he did a video talking about polygamy and polygyny, which I'm sure y'all know what that is. Basically, it's a man who's in a relationship, whether that be a marriage or whatever, with multiple women. Polygyny is reverse, where it's one woman and multiple men. Now, basically, I'm not gonna go over the entire video. It was whatever how long it was, but the gist of it, basically, he was talking about how he believes in his opinion that uh, monogamy is not natural, and that polygamy is more beneficial for humanity, just human beings in general, not just black folks. And his way of backing it up, that claim that polygamy is natural, is that you can go through out human history, going thousands of years back, and you'll see uh, polygamist behaviors, right? And he's not wrong about any of this. But my thing is, just like there's been polygamists throughout history, there have been people that practice monogamy who didn't cheat. You know what I mean? So both have been present in our history. Now, I don't know which has been more prevalent. I would assume it probably is polygamy over monogamy as far as the more prevalent. I'm not entirely sure, but all in all, there's been different forms of relationships throughout the millenniums, throughout humanity. If you study anthropology, anybody watches this, if you're somebody who identifies as conscious or anything like that, definitely look into anthropology. I'm not about to go over what that is, but I study that subject. I've been studying that subject since before I even actually knew what anthropology was, but I've been very much into that whole subject. And yeah, there's been many of cultures throughout different races and whatnot that have been polygamous or practice polygyny or any kind of open relationship, as well as monogamous. Now, I remember one of the things that he brought up, he was responding to what somebody else said. So this was not him talking about animals or other animals, but I guess somebody had brought up penguins, talking about, oh, well, penguins, that's a living group of creatures that practice monogamy throughout their entire life. Now, Rob's response, I agree and disagree with his response to whoever brought up penguins. Now, he said, okay, cool, so, penguins practice monogamy. He said, but the thing is, penguins only live around 15 to 20 years, something to that effect. Now, he was saying how 15 to 20 years isn't that long compared to how long the average human lives, which is, 80 or so, 80 plus years, right? Which is true. Compared to our life, 20 years isn't that long to be exclusive with somebody far as a lifetime. But that's our perception of time and how long a lifetime is. The thing is, if you are a part of a species where 20 years is a full life, 20 years is going to feel a lot longer than what 20 years feels to us. You understand? So 20 years to them probably feels like 80 years for us. You know what I mean? But that being said, I do agree with Rob that it is still pointless to bring up other animals because those are other animals. I mean, I could bring up otters, which are mammals, unlike penguins. You know, otters are very monogamous animals too. But that's still, at the end of the day, I think it makes more sense to kind of keep it on Homo sapiens. So I do agree with him in that way, right? But he kept talking about how polygamy is natural and his evidence of it was because of history. And I don't disagree with the history of polygamy, but once again, like I said, there's a history of monogamy as well. Now, here's my thing with him always bringing up that it's natural as far as his defense in that video. Once again, this is all just me respectfully disagreeing with certain things and agreeing with other things. The thing is, just because something is natural doesn't necessarily mean it's good. Now, I'm about to be a hypocrite here for a little bit for a second, and I'm about to talk about something that's not a human or any other animal, but as far as the word natural or the word nature, I'm just countering that statement that he made, right? You look at natural disasters, right? Like hurricanes and tornadoes, earthquakes, things like this. I understand that HARP exists and some of these natural disasters aren't really natural, but just like he said, throughout history there's been polygamy. Okay, well, throughout history there's been natural disasters, and I'm pretty sure HARP hasn't always been around. You see what I'm saying? So we know that natural disasters are just that. They're disastrous. It means it's in the word, right? You know what I mean? Killing people, destroying communities, all that type of stuff. But it's still natural. Does that make it okay for us? As far as our lives when it comes to people in what was it, Bombay or Pompeii or whatever, 1,000 years ago, whatever, those folks that built their whole community next to a volcano that ended up erupting and killing them. Now, it was their dumbass fault for building their community right by a volcano, but at the end of the day, that was nature, and that killed them all off, right? So just because polygamy is natural in his opinion, based on the factual evidence of the history of it, doesn't necessarily mean it's okay. Because the thing is, you can still have problems in a relationship if it's polygamous, just like you can if it's monogamous. It was almost as if, and I'm putting if on there. I'm not saying this is what he said, but this is just the way I perceived it. It was almost as if he was trying to say that polygamous relationships are automatically going to work better because people technically can't be called a cheater because they have multiple options right there. And on paper, that could be very true. I'm not saying he's 100% wrong about that. But on the flip side, that could also create more issues because now that's more people that you got to please emotionally, physically, financially, whatever. And you got to try to give all these different individual folks your attention. You see what I mean? Um, and to be clear, teach their own when it comes to polygamy or polygyny, monogamy, whatever. Teach their own. This is not me hating on anybody who identifies as a polygamist. If that's you, hopefully you can find some people that rock with that. That's cool. And to even compliment that when it comes to Rob's opinion on polygamy, I know in another video he he talked about how he thinks it's insane that polygamy is illegal as far as marriage and things of that nature, but monogamous relationships, if you want to get married, that's not illegal. And I do agree, it shouldn't be illegal. It shouldn't be socially shamed or frowned upon to be a polygamist or anything of that nature. In the same way that we don't look at monogamy as something bad or shameful. I do agree with that. People should be able to be a polygamist or practice polygamy, things like that, if that's what works for them. So I agree with them with that. Um, Now, I have, I guess, somewhat of a question slash response because I know that Rob has said in countless videos that he either prefers or it's a requirement. I can't remember which one. I don't want to put words in his mouth, but I know either he prefers at the very least or it's a requirement that the women he messes with are straight. Like he doesn't want to really rock with, date, have sex with women that are bisexual and things like that. Women that have messed around with women and then want to jump back to men, whatever, whatever. Which is, that's his right to be with the kind of women he wants to be with. I ain't knocking that, but and like I said, this is just a question because I'm not an expert on polygamy or anything like that. But if you are somebody like Robert Perkins and you don't want to be with a woman or women that are bisexual or pansexual, whatever, right? But you are in a polygamous relationship, wouldn't that mean that technically those women are also in a relationship with one another? So wouldn't that technically kind of make them bisexual, even if they ain't fucking around with one another? You know what I'm saying? And also, wouldn't it be easier to find women that are a polygamist if they're also bisexual, like on paper? Wouldn't you think that bisexual women and whatnot would probably be more open to those type of relationships versus a single woman or a single well, a straight woman. I'm not saying that straight women or that there aren't any straight women that are polygamous. I actually know some straight women that are, so I'm not saying that. But I'm just saying, at least on paper, wouldn't you think that most polygamists would be probably bisexual? You know what I mean? Because it's multiple women and one man, or it's multiple men and one woman, whatever, whatever, right? Now, let's say they legalize polygamy and everything like this in the United States, right? And you can legally get married. I'm not saying that Rob ever wants to get married, so this isn't me using him as an exclusive example. But let's just say somebody like Rob decided to get married, but they have that rule that the women that he is marrying, they gotta be straight, right? So let's say I'm just using Rob as an example, right? So Robert Perkins gets married to 5 women, right? But according to his relationship rules, all these women got to be straight. So you tell me that all of these women can only have sex with him, and they're essentially in a monogamous marriage sexually, at least with him, but he can be with all 5 of them in all aspects. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that seems kind of selfish to me. I'm just saying. You know what I mean? Like, what if, once again, just using Rob as an example, Rob's out doing his truck driving thing, with shout outs to him. I know he's trying to work towards um, being more of a independent truck driver and kind of doing things without having to go through a company and all that type of stuff. So keep doing your thing, brother. But he comes home from trucking, and wife one and wife four are at home getting drunk, and they all of a sudden they start kissing each other. Are you going, like, would you get a divorce? Yeah, I mean, I'm being petty, but I mean, seriously though, think about that. You know what I mean? Like, so they can't do nothing sexual. Like, you know what I mean? Like what? Like, I don't know. Like I said, I'm not a polygamist, so maybe I'm just being naive and I don't know. But to me, that seems like that would technically kind of put them in a lesbian or bisexual esque relationship, and then any man that's with them would be, I guess you could say, an accomplice or partaking in a bisexual esque marriage. To me, this outside looking in, y'all can correct me, but once again, teach their own. But yeah, those are just kind of some overall thoughts when he was giving his opinion on polygamy and monogamy and polygyny. Once again, teach their own. I do agree that it shouldn't be frowned upon or anything like this. People always talk about love is love, but then somebody brings up, being in an open relationship or whatever you want to call, you want to be in, a polygamous relationship or something like this, and all of a sudden that's a problem. But like Rob said, half these folks technically are polygamists because they're out here cheating on everybody that they've been with. And much respect to Rob. I can't remember if it was that same video or which video it was, but he said how, women that he's been with, he'll be real with them from the jump, and it's like, look, I'm not a monogamist. I'm most likely going to cheat on you at some point in this relationship. So if you can handle that, cool, you can rock with me. If not, then, I ain't trying to waste your time. Much respect, because 99.7% of men and women ain't gonna say that. first of all, most of us ain't gonna be real with ourselves like that, just to ourselves, let alone to our partner to say, hey, look, this is me, this is who I am, for better for worse. You can either take it or leave it. You know. So shout out to him for that. But I will say that real quick. I'm about to get here, get me a little shut eye, pass out here. I'm tired as hell. Been working 11, 12 hours. Got to get back to work here in less than 12 hours. So I'm about to pass out. But that's just something I wanted to say. It had been on my mind today. So yeah, shout out to him. Link will be in the description to that video. Sub to him if you haven't. Check out his videos. He's been pumping out a lot of videos lately. But yeah, it's your boy, the Conscious Coon Killer. Killing the coon within me, and coon within you. And I'm out. Peace.